like you said, you know, we're sitting here in hindsight, all three of us, we've done stupid shit ourselves.
Yeah,
definitely.
Do you know what I mean? So hopefully, you know, like younger people listening to this, they can obviously take something away from that.
hello, this is Black Country Blokes chewing the fat.
Listen.
I've been hearing a lot lately about men don't talk, but in my experience, men do talk, just people aren't listening. So it's going to be me and a group of blokes discussing our struggles and victories through life. Warning, there may be some bad language, so apologies to all the moms, especially my own. Let's get going.
Listen.
This is Black Country Blokes chewing the fat with me, Kev Dill, Lee Cadman and Aaron Jew. Now today's podcast, our discussion, is going to be about bullying. And bullying affects so many people through life. And what people don't realise is the way that we're bullied as a child or whatever can influence possibly the rest of our lives. Now I was bullied at school for having bad eyes, being called cockeye, and it held me back for years of relationships. And because I had a support teacher who would come and help me read and write and all this, I didn't have the confidence to talk to women. And people don't realise what happens to you when you're young can hold you back for the rest of your life. And I said, yes, it is traumatic, yeah, it is terrible. But sometimes it's we carry it on our back for our whole lives. And sometimes it's great to remember how it felt and realise how you never want to feel that way again. But it's about emptying that rucksack and putting it in the garden shed. So you know where it is, but you haven't got to carry the burden with you for your whole life. Right? Have you had any experience being bullied? Or have you seen it happening?
Me personally, I've been very fortunate that I've never been bullied, but I've seen it. I think one of my things is, obviously you see the effects, especially with social media. You see kids taking videos and some poor person's getting bullied. I sometimes think back to times when I've seen somebody getting bullied and thinking, why couldn't I stop it? And at that point I probably could have had the influence as well, because I was alright, I was quite popular, everyone knew who I was, so I could probably have stopped it, but I never stopped it. Because then it was like, well, the last thing you want is somebody to turn on you. So that's probably my only regret and my only thing that, you know, plays on my mind. But I've seen the effects it's had on like siblings, like my younger sister now, Kelsey, she's going through school and girls are saying, oh, you're ugly. And not realising like how that's affecting her, because she's coming on and she's like, Mum, I'm beautiful. And obviously we're like, of course you're beautiful, you know, there's nothing wrong with you. But they're like the kids can just be like so cool and not realise what they're saying. That
doesn't have as much meaning as a friend's, unfortunately, does it?
Sadly,
because that and at school age, she wants their, not your
validation, not ours. So we say that, but still, you can see how it affects her. She's a bubbly person, and it's like you don't want that to ever change, like her personality to change. Like you said, it can affect you for the rest of your life. So I see it grinds my gears, but then it's also one of those things. We used to say like bullying starts at home or racism starts at home. And I remember, I think, just segueing ever so slightly, my other brother Kyle, he went to school and he said something, it was a racist comment, and the embarrassment that like we felt as a family, and like my mum felt, and we were like, we always used to use that thing where racism starts at home, yet he just said something racist. We've obviously not said it, so, you know, we've been judging people, thinking, you know, like if you hear a racist kid, for example, like their parents said it, and he was basically bullying someone. And it was disgusting, because it's like, that actually didn't start from home. That's not how he's taught at home. And I think, I don't know what it's like in schools nowadays. I don't know, kids pick up things. Obviously, I think social media has a big part. He's always on iPads, he's always on YouTube, and he's very quick. He'll hear something, his ears perk up if it sounds a bit.
The kid's playing the games with another kid or a grown up on the thing. He says something.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think about myself, and I've said racist comments as a young person.
Yeah.
Not realising the effect of them, and probably not realising what I was saying.
Of course.
Yeah.
You know,
I think that's the important thing. Yeah.
You don't realise the effect you're having on people by saying them. And I say I was young and didn't realise what I was saying.
So it's just a word.
Yeah, that's it.
And when they're saying,
but it's not, is it?
They're on about banning words. The word itself holds no meaning. It's the context that the word was said in. So you could say something, and it's not meant to say that. It's just a pass-off comment. There's nothing worse than a polite racist, you know, who's saying all the right things, but he's got malice in his heart. And that's the same with bullying. manipulation. Because racism, bullying, homophobia, sexism, it's just another tool of bullying, isn't it? You know, when you're being horrible to something, to someone or to something that they have no control over. You know what I mean? There's like, banter's only banter. Oh, you know me, I'm always using banter. No, you're a twat.
The thing is with banter, it's two-way, isn't it?
Banter, like a joke, it's two-way. You say something, I say something, that's banter. But by banning words, that's not going to stop it. Because if you want to be a prick, you'll always be a prick. You'll just change things to suit you. But back to what you said, saying when you're at school, not having the power or not having the belief to stop it. One of my best friends in the world, Peter Griffiths, he's now a photography teacher at school, and he says, the great thing about being a teacher is I can do all the things that I wanted to do. So if I see someone being, he's a mixed race lad himself, 6'6", you know, used to box. But he says, now if I see someone saying something, I've got the power to say, stop that. Or go and say sorry. You know, he's now got the power to do it. And that's why I'm blessed at the club. So two things I don't tolerate. Bad manners and bullying. Racism, bullying. Like that's the same thing. Bad manners, there's no excuse for it. And there's no excuse for bullying. There's no reason why you can make someone feel bad just feeling bad. A fight's only a fight if you're both throwing punches. If you're throwing punches and the lad isn't, then you're a bully. And that's the same with verbal abuse. If I just keep going, look here, you big ear prick, look here, you blind prick, look here, you Asian prick, look here, 4 eyes, and they're not saying anything back, then that's bullying. So look at yourselves, and if you're just having a laugh at someone, that's bullying. There's banter, there's teasing. The British people have got the best humour, and we laugh in the darkest of days, which is wonderful, and I don't want it to change. But if you're the only person laughing in the room, then you might be that bully. And what you say and what you do may affect that person for the rest of his life, because they might not you might not realise what you're saying lasts. To that person, it holds him back from asking that girl out. It holds him back from going to that job interview. It holds him back from everything that he holds sacred in his life. And Aaron's going to put, because he's the brains of the operation, he's going to put some helplines on there, because you owe it to yourself to get help and to find learning and coping mechanisms, because how many poor buggers have ended up losing their lives, taking their lives, and maybe that bully didn't want it to get that far. Some people are sadistic and that's what they want. Those bastards should have whatever happened to them. However, some people, that pass away comment can damage someone. So get into the help, talk to people, message us if need be. There are millions of people out there who are going through what you're going through.
No, absolutely. Just two things actually for me. So one about your friend Peter, I think you said the teacher.
Yeah.
It's weird because as you were saying that, I was just thinking some of the things I do now. So we've spoken about this on a previous episode where I try and advocate for people. So obviously I went to social work previously to advocate for children, and it was like now I advocate for people who are being manipulated by people and taken advantage of. And I have a voice now, so I have my voice on the platform and social media. Not like huge amount of followers, but I have followers who have been following me for 10 odd years, and I'll say something and I'll get a bit of backing. And now whenever I see unjust or anything bad happening, like ethically, I'll say it, I'll point it out. So maybe that's something subconsciously in my head where it's like, because I never did it as a kid, I feel like now I just hate it. Like sometimes, like even the wife or like my mom should be like, why are you trying to fight everyone's battles? But I'm sick of people taking the piss out of other people. I don't like it. Like, pick on someone your own size, stop taking advantage of people. So now I'm like constantly fighting people. I'm not like looking after myself kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then the other thing was, I just remember a random, I don't know how you call it, a rhyme as a kid, which was sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. And it's weird because it is actually the words that hurt you. And even as adults, we sit here and sometimes, even as an adult, we could probably say something that would have such a detrimental effect.
Well, Nick Davis come up with, he said something to me once. He went, sticks and stones may break your bones, but words can simply cripple you. Can simply cripple you.
And I think that's the real lyric.
Because when you get smack in the nose and your nose water, it's over. But the fear of being punched in the nose is horrible. And that's the same, like if someone kicks you in the shin, it's done, it's over. But the fear of going to the school and someone to say something, it's the dread, it's the waiting, and that's the painful side of bullying. Because physical pain is just bump, oh you bastard. But that fear of at 3 o'clock after school, might be today, might be tomorrow, might be Friday, it's that dread of doing it. And nowadays, because the poor buggers can't escape it. When I was getting bullied at school, I'd go home.
It ended at 3:30, didn't it?
Ended at 3:30. Nowadays, it's beep, 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 and you think, just please turn your phone off. But that's their phone's their right arm, and then they're bullied because they're not on social media. It breaks my heart thinking about my child. On a bit of a spin-off, because my daughter went down to Lee's mum's thing where she's got horses, and I was educated on your daughter. I ain't told you this yet, and she was saying like Calla's poolies, and she's had it. I went, yeah. I went, but Daddy's eyes are pooly, and it's okay. I went, did you talk to her? She went, yeah. I went and talked to her. I went, that's what you got to do, because that's why I want to be in the boxing club. So she's used to Asian people, black people, travelling communities, and realising we're all the same. And I was so happy when she went to meet Calla the other day. First time they've met at bonfires, haven't they?
Yeah, I think they're probably
But they're
too young to.
Well, they're both the same age, aren't they?
Yeah.
So they're both children. Yours has just turned 5, now mine's 4. But it was nice for her to go over, and it made me laugh. I said, "Was a wheelchair like?" She went, "It was beautiful, Daddy. It was really," and that's what I wanted her to take from the experience, that she's still a little girl. And I said, "Did you talk to her?" She went, "She can't talk, Daddy. Can she talk with her hands?" I went, "She understands you, Jazz. So talk, because she's just another one of your friends." And I thought, if I can get that into her at a young age, hopefully in 20 years' time, she's going to be a remarkably beautiful woman. That she only sees like Martin Luther King will not be judged on the colour of our skin, but on the context of our character. Not on what we look like, sound like, but what. And I thought that's a tremendous lesson, and we should be doing more of it.
I think that it needs to be integrated into schools, especially regarding disabilities. One of my biggest fears, actually, my eldest is going to secondary school next year, and I know how brutal that can be. So having a disabled daughter, a disabled sister, potentially she's going to be picked on because of that. I can't guarantee that's going to happen, but that's you're talking that secondary school. This is where it comes out. In primary school, you still do have that innocence, and everyone at Lily's school knows Calla. They've all done fundraising and events for her, so they've met her. There's a bit more understanding. When you go to secondary school, bigger, wider world as such for my daughter.
Your mum dies and they're singing, "Where's your mum gone?"
Yeah, that's what I mean. And again, they probably don't realise the effect of those words.
They're just getting the reaction out of the person, but they don't realise that child is missing the parent, and it can take people a lifetime to deal with that anyway. We've had some little prick bullying you on it. But a lot of the time, because children they're beautiful, they can be evil, but they don't realise what they're saying. I'll tell you another example of something that happened up here. There's a little white kid, I won't say his name, a little black kid playing together, and they're best mates. And the little white kid come over and went, "I've been playing with chocolate brownie," and the parents, the white parents and the black parent went, "Oh my God, that's racist, that's racist." The child didn't say it to be racist. He said a nickname, chocolate brownie, he thought was a nice thing to say. And now, me and Pete have talked about this, and Quinton. And I said, racism could have formed then, because this white kid and this black kid were playing lovely. Then the white kid thinks, well, I can't talk to black kids, because if I do this, I'm going to get shut up by Mummy and Daddy. The black kid was thinking me and the white kid were best mates 5 minutes ago. I don't know what he said, but everyone got offended, so maybe all white. Because the parents dealt with that bad, you've created 2 issues for 2 kids that for 2 minutes previous were best mates. So we have to be careful of sometimes, is it malicious? Is it the word itself, or is it the way the word has been used? Because sometimes it is naive. Or what you said, like we've said stuff when you're a kid, not knowing what it meant. You've seen it on a movie.
I think we've all done that.
Yeah, you've said something, and you thought, it's not until someone says, hang on, that's right, or that, and you go, if I'd have known that, there's no way on God's green earth I would have said it. But I just thought it was a throwaway comment. So it's not the word itself, it's the intent that it's used.
No, I agree. It's just worrying. I mean, I haven't got kids yet. You guys have got kids, and like you're saying, secondary school. You know, Jasmine's going to go there like soon, and you're just thinking. When I just see it on like Twitter and social media, and it goes viral. That's the thing. Like, it gets more retweets than it gets more care and thought given to it. Like, give thought to actually what's just gone on here. Somebody's life's very it's been affected. But rather than do that, hey, we need to get some likes on our Instagram or something. So they just retweet it, and my heart breaks. I mean, I comment on a lot of them on Twitter, and I can't watch them sometimes.
What effect does that have? Because I've seen it a few times where you've seen 3 or 4 kids beating up another kid, and you're thinking, okay, that's being retweeting, but that person who's being beaten up doesn't want that video, so whether it's for good or bad, doesn't want that video circulated along across the world. You know?
And I think that's why
it's embarrassing for him at the end of the day.
That's why we've got such atrocities now with the knife crimes. And back in the day, I'd go somewhere, you beat me up, I've got 2 options. I've got to go and have a straightener, or I can forget about it. You beat me up and you film it, everyone sees it. Now I feel like, well, I can't beat Aren. You know, he's 5 inches taller than me. So what I'll do, I'll stab him. Or I'll do something atrocious, because if I walk away from this, I look like a pussy and someone else will hurt me again. I can't physically do him, so I've got to write him off. And that's another one that came to the repercussions of the bullying. Because everyone is so happy to film something that's going on, you think that's not going to be me. So people do atrocious things to stop that from happening. And like with the trolling now, I mean, God, I hope you die, I hope your kids die, I hope you... And you're thinking, we have never met. How can you hate me that much to come up with those comments? And then they say, some people respond wittily and get after them, but that's giving the bully the ammunition to keep on to you. Some people ignore it, but then they feel like the bully has won. And is there a right answer?
That's the question, isn't it?
Block them.
Block them.
Yeah.
I think that's the only... I mean, I follow a lot of boxers on Twitter, and you can see some of them bite back, and they'll do it for years. They'll bite back, and all of a sudden they go, what am I doing this for? Why am I doing this? And they'll just block them, because they're just you're just wasting your own time. Ultimately, those people are just... I don't know why they do it. Yeah. Is it for a reaction? I don't know. But ultimately, you're never gonna... no matter how much you reply, you're never going to do anything about it, really. It's never going to affect anything, so you might as well just block them, you're done.
But back in the day, like with writing a letter of complaint, I would have to go to the shop, buy a letter, write it, go and get a stamp, go out, post for a letterbox. Now, everyone's a keyboard warrior. Not everyone, but, you know, these horrible people. And you're thinking, have you really got nothing in your life that's better than telling me about how my life is? And I can't comprehend it. But
I pity it, to be honest, that somebody has like we said, we've got just enough time to get here now and try and do this and try and do something good in the world. But there's people there, they've got hours and hours just trolling people, nasty comments, like they'll watch, like I get it on my YouTube, so recently I've been getting some hating comments from my whole fitness ones, but it's nothing related to the content, it's about the colour of my skin. Or the size of my penis, like they'll see me in the middle of the night or something, and it's like what made you come on and say this?
It's almost funny.
It is. Like, obviously, I'm 31 now, so I look at it from a different perspective.
Yeah.
If I was 20, I'd probably be swearing back like an idiot as well.
Yeah. And if you were 60 and you'd take it on board,
of course, absolutely. Where are you? Let's meet up, kind of thing. But
or you'd be dreading it, you know, or it could be the flip side.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because you're either going, who the fuck are you? Or you're going,
I'm not going to post nothing again now.
Yeah.
I'm going to worry about it. So, you know, obviously I'm at a different stage in my life, but we have to be obviously sensitive towards kids at a young age who maybe want to put videos out there, who may have a talent or may want to share something, and it's that fear and that I mean, I ain't got kids, so I can't even imagine what it's like, but that makes me feel sick that there's kids are like giving other kids that level of fear.
I mean, I think about those videos again, and you think about the parents of those kids are doing it. I mean, I think at that point that would be my breaking point. I'll be going around people's houses, knocking on doors, you know. Yeah, you just can't. Some of the stuff that goes on, oh my God, really.
Well, being someone who was bullied, it's that dread of going back there day after day after day. And it's something I'd like you lot to think about if you are that person. Like, because people can see me now, I'm this alpha male and I'm out there and I'm doing this and I'm airing all of my insecurities out there. Because I hope if someone is listening to this and they're being bullied, you can get through it. Please, you can get through it. And if you are that bully, look at someone like myself, and I've met so many people who have ended up taking their lives or getting into bad drugs or doing a lot of time in pen on the repercussions of what you're doing now. So if you are doing it, think to yourself, stop, look and listen, you know what I mean? Because what you are doing now can affect someone so bad for the rest of their life. And do you really want that on your conscience? Going to school one day and find out that Kev Aren had hung himself or taken an overdose. Because it's not just my life you had affected or ended, it'd have been my loved ones, it'd have been all the people around that situation that you affect.
It'd be your life as well, actually. The bully's life, because you might not feel it now, but somewhere in 10, 15 years time, when you wise up and you grow and you have kids or you have, you know, people you're close to, you're going to think, shit, I've done that to somebody else's life. And you need to really understand that.
Plus, I think you need to look at yourself and think, do I need help? As a bully, do I need help? What is making me behave in that way?
Just playing devil's advocate then, because I've got no kids. What would you do if, say for instance, you come on one day and the teacher's made a complaint that your kids have bullied somebody else? I know they wouldn't.
Straight away, I'd get Jasmine there, I'd find out the person it was, and I'd make her apologise to the person, to the parents, whatever. I wouldn't go in going, my Jasmine would never do that.
And that happens.
It happens more than you'll ever know. And I would go, this stops now. I'd go in, I'd ask Jasmine and say, is this true? I'd love my daughter. God, if she killed someone tomorrow, I would love her more than anyone in the world. But she's got to be accountable for her actions. So she'd have to go, find out whatever, and I'd try and arrange, depending on what age, a play date. Or I'd say, let's find some common ground and find out. And if you can't be friends, you don't talk. But this is squashed. Like I was doing in the club, this is squashed because it ain't right. If you don't like each other, don't talk. Don't be horrible. Don't get your friends to be horrible, because it's terrible. It's like when you're having a fight. You're winning and your mate runs over and kicks him. What a prick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So you ain't got the minerals to stand up and have a scrap with them. But as soon as Derek's on the floor, you're putting the boot in. You're a bully. You're jumping on to something else. Yeah. And that's the same with like insults. Or a lot of the kids I see get bullied. 6'4", 20 stone in year 9. And I say, hey, what on earth are you bullied? He goes, if I hit him back, I'd hurt him. So this little 4-foot rot could bully Goliath, because he looks tough, but he knows Goliath ain't going to punch him back. And that's a bully.
It's awkward in that situation. What does that person do? Because, from experience, you can go and tell teachers, you can do all that, but what difference does it really make? You do need to do what you suggest. Sit down with those sides and sort it out. Either way, whether it's never talking to each other and avoid each other, great. Whether it's you can shake hands and move on. Yeah. But it is, what do you do?
But it's the education, it's finding out. We don't get along. All right then. All you got to do is nod. If you see them, or don't even nod. But don't make it obvious, like, I am not talking to Aren. Because it's just scratchy, wash it off. Because what we do now can affect someone else for the rest of their life. And if you do find out, there's no right way, but try and build a bridge or just walk away in the best possible fashion. And words, I think, remember what we said, sticks and stones may break your bones, but that words can cripple you for the rest of your life.
Yeah, and I just think another thing, again, this might not be the right answer, none of us, we haven't got the right answer, we just started talking about this topic. But if you are one of those people, and there's a lot of these people who, when you see some altercation or somebody in a vulnerable position, rather than put your phone out, you know, and try and
get someone to help if you're scared yourself.
Get someone to help, or even better, if you really want the likes, turn the camera on yourself and go and stop that fight, because you'll get plaudits for that, and you're doing something great, and you probably have more retweets or shares than anyone else, and you would have saved a life there potentially. So I think that, you know, we should just be a bit more compassionate towards people. But like you said, you know, we're sitting here in hindsight, all three of us, we've done stupid shit ourselves.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you know what I mean? So hopefully, you know, like younger people listening to this, they can obviously take something away from that.
And how do you think you'd react if your daughter was being bullied?
Or your son?
It's a hard one, isn't it? Because I think for me it depends on the length of what's gone on with the bullying. I'm pretty sure if I saw some of the videos I've seen online of gangs of kids beating on one person, there's no way I'd be able to keep that rage.
But as we said, I won't mention his name, but like sometimes our natural reaction is, you are, I'm gonna fucking kick his dad's teeth in. Sometimes that ain't the cure, because by saying that might not allow your son or your daughter to come to you. Sometimes the cuddle, the hug is more powerful than the sword.
But how do you stop it then, Kev? Because like, I think to myself,
when you tell the person, like Jasmine tells me, I'm gonna go and write his dad off. Sometimes how we communicate with that child at that time can put us off, putting them off, telling us again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Also, just on that as well, so what we're saying at the beginning, so for example, Carl goes out and bullies someone and then somebody comes and takes it out on mom.
Yeah.
It's in that whole context of things, it's actually unfair because my mum has nothing to do with him hearing something on the internet and then saying it. So we have to be mindful of that as well. Like, two wrongs don't make a right. At the same time, so it's difficult.
And don't forget, I mean, like, if, I don't know, as you say, a vigilante group or come and bashed Jasmine or did something, then, because God bless the police, and I'm not knocking you now because you're overstretching everything, but then they haven't got the resource and they don't do nothing, and then that bully goes free and doesn't something, needs a little verminous rot going around ruining the village. What do you do about it? And then you think your natural action is go and give him a tatering, but sometimes, like, you'll have these children coming up to my age going, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And everyone's got the video on it going, go on, hit him, what are you going to do? What are you going to... That's my worst nightmare. Because your natural action goes, oh, that you bastard. Yeah. You know what I mean? But you've hit a minor. And it's such a weird and a horrible world for that at the moment. But I think
actually, that's more scary than a grown man coming up and swearing up to me. I prefer that.
Because what happens then.
Absolutely.
But a child to do it, and one of my good friends, her daughter was being bullied, and that's exact situation. She was at Merrihill, and his group of 6 girls were giving her daughter a pasting. She jumped out, and the girls were getting in her face going, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You're going to eat me? And she had to get the girl, put her in the car, the phone, the old bill, the CTV wasn't working, so and so, and it's... But what do you do then? You go around, knock on Cyril's door, you go outside and go, what's happened? Instead of having a mediator, there's got to be ramifications for your actions. But if we could get to being in a place where we had people like Nick, NLP practitioners and whatever, in primary schools, so we're learning how to deal with our emotions and our insecurities, hopefully when we get to this stage.
But I think a lot of it's down to integration as well. I visit a lot of schools, and you tend to find that schools are of a certain, so you will get coloured people and maybe a splattering of white people in that school, but it won't be fully integrated, if you know what I mean. And you will get a white school that only 2 or 3 coloured children go to. So I think you need, and it's the same with communities. You think of your communities. You get communities of Indian families, communities as well. You need the whole lot.
You need as diverse as possible. Because my primary school was very diverse. Never seen any like segregation or anything. My secondary school was actually the same. Funnily enough, so that's what I'm saying. I've never really seen much like other than like the odd thing, but that's never like a racism or anything like kind of thing. But then when I do think, like you say, like my brother's school, it was literally the Asians on one side and then the white people on one side. And actually, funny enough, he used to get in trouble because he never used to show with Asians, so he was like, you know, the coconut or whatever you want to kind of call it. But yeah, I think it's exposure, isn't it? It's like we were talking about traveling on one of our podcasts. The more you travel, the more you spend time with different types of people, you're like, they're just like me. And then you have compassion for people. Whereas if somebody's different, like I'm seeing a lot of these kids get bullied because they got autism or they're not speaking properly, and that makes me so sick because they can't defend themselves. And I'm like, they're just coming across different, or you know, their hair's different because they've got Afro-Caribbean hair or something. And I've seen like them pull. I'm like, what are you guys doing this? And like you said, it is the exposure thing. Sometimes something's different, and then you know, kids, they want to get the biggest laugh, don't they? And the biggest reaction is just, I don't know. I don't know the answer for it. It just makes you sick. But like you said, if you know, if people are listening to this, hopefully people listen to this and they can just not be as stupid as maybe we were. I mean, we weren't the people taking videos or hitting people, but you know, we've done some stupid stuff that maybe you guys can just stop and think. Like, what if this was your loved one? What if this was you?
And I think like if like you walk into any boxing club, not just here, you go into boxing clubs and you see all those different brothers and sisters training and going to competition, supporting them. If the rest of the country, never mind the world, was like that, we'd have a much better place. So what I'm going to do today, I'm going to end on my original quote from my first podcast. I did this on our brother company, Find Your Voice, when I was Aaron's first interview. And it's, may your God bless you. And if you don't believe in God, then find something to believe in. Because someone who doesn't believe in anything will always be lost. Take care of yourselves and each other. So until next week, gang, ta-ra a bit.
Listen.
And that's a wrap for another show. But if there are any comments or messages that you would like us to read out for our next podcast, please be in touch. There are also lots of different organisations at the bottom of this page, and hopefully they can help you or someone you care about. Please share this to spread the word. Until we talk next time, ta-ra a bit.
Listen.